G'day mate, my name's Maggie
And I'm Elma,
and we're from
the ME Podcast. So the Innocence Project was founded in 1992 by Barry Shennick and Peter Newfield. And basically the Innocence Project is where innocent lives have been guilty in the court due to thousands of numbers of reasons, but most of the reasons is misidentification, because all of this is back in like the 1990s to 1980s, 1970s, where technology wasn't really as good as it is today. But because of people relying on eyewitnesses, is now really the most reliable source we can use, and people can really use misidentification for anything possible.
Mm-hmm.
Innocent lives have been served up to 20 to 40 years in prison, and they were innocent the whole time. Like, nobody wants to go to jail and live their life in jail.
Yeah, live their lives like that.
Yeah.
I've done some research and I've looked at the Innocence Project page, and one dude piqued my interest.
Oh, who?
And his name was Anthony Massengill.
I actually done some research about him too. So Anthony Massengill was a person who was guilty, of course, and this occurred around 1980. So obviously technology wasn't that as advanced as it was today. But with that, he was convicted of aggravated robbery and rape. He got sentenced to prison because of eyewitness misidentification. All you need is race, hair color, maybe even what they're wearing, but like certain features, yeah, in order for them to like say, hey, you're the one who did this, or it's you that did this, instead of like using security footage or even many other things.
Right.
But back then, like, technology for like the forensic unit isn't really common. So of course it's not going to be physically possible to get like what we needed.
Right.
And especially if the victim themselves didn't want to do it, and they're like, hey, I don't want to perform this test kit, like, it makes it 10 times harder for even the officers, detectives, everybody in the law enforcement who's working on that case. It makes it 10 times harder for them to figure out like who's the actual culprit.
Is there any positive effects to the Innocence Project?
So once they get exonerated, like if they find any way for them to get exonerated, they obviously become free, and they can receive certain like stuff. I'd assume stuff. I mean, like probably money,
Like perks.
They'd have to literally work from the bottom all the way back up the top.
Have they been able to find the actual culprit?
Most of them do for the most part. Because if you can use forensic, you can use fingerprints, skin cells, name it, you can do it. It's not a pleasing thing, but you gotta do what you gotta do. It's reality. That's the cold, hard truth. They have to use pubic hair and like combings and cuttings from the victim. So at least in his case, the victim actually helped in this case. One thing that's like really, really confusing for me is when people do false confessions.
Okay. Well, sometimes they talk to them on the side, mean like if you plead guilty, you most likely will have less time in jail. Or they won't give you such a harsh punishment.
In today's society, we have now cameras, more technology for forensics, like we said 100 times already. But still, either way, it can help in this case scenario, depending on whichever one you want to do.
The people who are eyewitnesses, are they just people on the street, or are they like people like victims?
It could be either or.
Because a lot of people are biased if they're just people on the street.
That too, but it depends. I feel like it all depends on the location, B, the people, and we gotta be glad that we have the Innocence Project, because innocent lives
they're at stake.
Yeah, they've been wrongfully convicted for no reason whatsoever, and once they get exonerated, they're free. But what do? You just lost like half of your life.
Right. You just gotta live the rest to the fullest.
Right, exactly. But also start from the bottom back to the top.
Cool.
I think this should conclude our Innocence Project podcast. So it was really nice talking about the Innocence Project with you guys. This was Elma
and Maggie signing out.
Peace out.